Little Pilgrims is a 3-book series that's inspired by John Bunyan's classic Pilgrim's Progress, which is an excellent, excellent read. This book, I think, could be described as an abridged version of John Bunyan's original work, his first book. It's really, really well done. The art is incredible, and it's written in the perspective of a child. So the book actually starts with Christian in the city of destruction, but Christian is pictured as being like a child in this version. But I think that's appropriate because it's a children's book, and it does a good job of showing children essentially what they can expect from the Christian life. It doesn't hold back in any of these areas. Christian definitely is made fun of for his faith early on, similar to the original book. He basically is given intense pressure to reject his faith. But he, of course, encounters evangelists and then goes on his journey. And I won't spoil the rest for you, but it's a really good read, true to the original. There are some changes made to be more child appropriate. For example, the interpreter's house. The examples used are more child friendly, which I think is important for this type of book. I really enjoyed the end. This is my favorite scene in the entire book, where Christian is falling into the river of death, and Hopeful guides them out of it. And then they're greeted by the angels, of course, and they meet their king. So honestly, amazing book. I love book 1. Book 2 follows Christiana's journey. And of course, this also is true to John Bunyan's original structure. Some things, again, are made to be a little more child appropriate. The book is going to start off just like the original book starts, with Christiana also in the city of destruction. And she's going to get a scroll or a message, an invitation from the king. And this book is a little more lighthearted, and I think it's important because it shows both sides of the Christian journey. So the Christian journey is harder for some. It's easier for some as well. Both are appropriate and both are beautiful, and we should be thankful for that. Christiana's journey is definitely more well-balanced, as there's a lot more Christians to help her along on her journey, versus Christian has a really intense time with his faith. But the book is really, really solid across the board. It's very true to the original again, which I think is important. And of course, it ends with Christiana entering the kingdom of heaven and meeting her King Jesus as well. So it's such a beautiful and wonderful book. Both are excellent in the series. I highly recommend them. Now, the third book in the series, obviously John Bunyan did not write 3 books. It's an inspiration that is kind of taken as if John had written his third book, what it might have been like. And I think this is really, really cool and well done by Lithos Kids. Again, really true to the original style. And honestly, I think it would have made John Bunyan proud. So I really enjoyed reading it anyways, even as a child's book, because I'm a huge fan of John Bunyan's works. And I really liked what Lithos Kids did with this book. It follows Christiana and Christian's children, and really follows along the path of what they kind of had to do for the kingdom and their path to coming to Christ as well. And the book is really excellent in that way. I don't want to spoil it. Of course, has everything that we would expect from Lithos Kids, which is incredible art and animation. One thing that I really liked about this book is that it focuses in on really kind of the spiritual warfare components of life and standing up for your faith. And I really enjoyed that part of this book for sure. The book ultimately culminates in kind of a final battle between the kids and the forces of evil, which I think are really, it's a really cool story. Of course, they kind of end up in battle, and it seems like the fight is almost over, and that they're going to lose. But just at the last minute, that's when Christ returns. And I think that's the really cool thing about this book. There's a lot of hope, even though there's a lot of difficult things that happen in the book, and a lot of challenges that might honestly be difficult for young children. It finishes with a lot of hope because Christ ultimately gets the ultimate victory. And one of the things that I thought was really cool here is in the way that it ends. Obviously, Jesus is victorious, but it ends on such a happy note with everyone together, and everyone in heaven together specifically, and it gives a lot of hope. It's a good way to kind of explain, what the future holds, why children should be excited and hopeful for what the future is bringing. So honestly, it has all the characters from the first two books as well at the end all together. I really like this. It was an incredible read, and I think my kids really enjoyed it as well.